Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I will teach you Power System 1. In this video, I will discuss about sag in overhead lines. Now this topic is included in Module 2 of the subject Power System 1. In this video, we discuss about sag, tension and clearance, effect of wind and ice on sag. So let's start. Now, while erecting an overhead line, it is very important that conductors are under safe tension. If the conductors are too much stressed between supports in a bid to save the conductor material, the stress in the conductor may reach unsafe value, and in certain cases the conductor may break due to the excessive stress. So in order to permit the safe tension in the conductor, they are not fully stretched but are allowed to have a dip or sag. Next is, what is sag? So sag is defined as the difference in level between points of supports and the lowest point on the conductor. Now in this picture you can see a conductor is suspended between two equilevel supports A and B. The conductor is not fully stretched but is allowed to have a dip. Okay. The lowest point on the conductor is O, and the what is the sag? Sag is the difference between the points of supports and the lowest point on the conductor. So this is the sag. This distance is the sag. So sag is the difference in level between points of supports and the lowest point of the conductor. So we denoted sag by S. Next one is the sag tension and the ground clearance. So these all are related. Okay. So at first, when laying overhead transmission lines, it is necessary to allow a reasonable factor of safety in respect of tension to which the conductor is subjected. Now the tension is governed by the effects of wind, ice loading and temperature variation. So the relationship between tension and sag is dependent on the loading condition and the temperature variation. Okay, so for example, the tension increases when the temperature decreases and there is a corresponding decrease in the sag. Now icing up on the line and wind loading will cause stretching of the conductor by an amount depending on the line tension. So in the planning of sag, tension and ground clearance of a given span, a maximum stress is selected, and it is then aimed to have the stress developed at the worst probable weather condition, that is minimum expected temperature, maximum ice loading, maximum wind. So wind loading increases the sag in the direction of the resultant loading but decreases the vertical component. We will discuss in our following slide what are the effects of ice and wind on the sag. So tension in the conductor should be low to avoid the mechanical failure of the conductor and permit the use of less strong support. This is also important that the conductor sag should be kept into a minimum in order to reduce the conductor material required and to avoid the extra pole height for sufficient clearance above the ground level. Okay, so low conductor tension and minimum sag are not possible. So it is because low sag means a tight wear and high tension, whereas low tension means a loose wear that increase the sag. So there is a compromise is made between the sag and the tension. Next, why sag provision is mandatory in transmission line conductors. Sag is mandatory in transmission line conductor suspension. The conductors are attached between two supports with perfect value of sag. It is because of providing safety on the conductor from not to be subjected to excessive tension. Okay, so in order to permit safe tension in the conductor, conductors are not fully stretched. Rather, they are allowed to have a sag. If the conductor is stretched fully during installation, wind exerts pressure on the conductor and hence conductor gets chance to be broken or detached from its end support. So that's why we are allowing sag. Now how to calculate the sag? Now sag calculation is divided on two conditions. First one, when supports are at equal level, and second case when supports are not at equal level. So in the first case, when supports are at equal level, okay, here you can see supports are at equal level, and this conductor is suspended between point A and point B, and O is the lowest point of the conductor. Okay. Now consider a point P on the conductor and taking O point as the origin, the coordinate of P is X and Y. This is our origin. So from here the horizontal distance is X and the vertical distance is Y. Okay. Now assume that the curvature is so small that the curved length is equal to its horizontal projection. So OP is equal to X. Now the two forces acting on OP. The first is the weight Wx. Here W is the weight per unit length. So if X is the total length, so what is the total weight? W into X, because W is the weight per unit length of the conductor. So we multiply W by X, so we can get the total weight of the conductor. Now the weight of the conductor acting at a distance X by 2 from O, and there is another force, that is tension. The tension at the point O on the conductor act tangentially. Okay, so the tension at this point acts horizontally. Now equating the moments of above two force, we get T into Y equal to W into X into X by 2. So from here Y equal to Wx square by 2T. So the maximum dip is represented by the value of Y, either of supports A or supports B. At support A, the X, what is the value of X? Now at the P point, suppose the P point is shifted to point A. The maximum sag is represented by the value of Y, either of the supports A and B. Now we calculate the value of Y at point P. Now P is shifted to A. So the horizontal distance from origin is L by 2, and the vertical distance from origin to point A is given by S. So in place of Y we can put S, and in place of x, we can put L by 2. So from this we get the value of S is WL square by 80. So this is the sag when supports are at equal level. Next, supports are at unequal level. We can write S1 equal to Wx1 square by 2t and S2 equal to Wx square by 2t, because now in the second case supports are at unequal level. Here the conductor is suspended between point A and point B, and O is the lowest point. Okay, so the distance from horizontal distance from origin to point A is x1 and vertical distance is s1. And from here, from at if we consider point B, the horizontal distance from origin is x2 and the vertical distance from origin is s2. And the difference between s2 and s1 is given by h. Okay. Now from previous case, while the vertical distance is equal to Wx square by 2t. From this equation we can write S1 equal to Wx1 square by 2t and S2 equal to Wx square by 2t. Okay, now x1 plus x2 is equal to L, total span of the L is the total span. Now S2 minus S1 equal to W2t in the bracket x2 square minus x1 square. Now by solving it we can get WL by 2t x2 minus x1, because x2 square minus x1 square can be written as x2 plus x1 into x2 minus x1 formula of x square minus b square. Now x1 plus x2 is equal to L. So we put in place of x1 plus x2 L. So WL by 2t x2 minus x1. So what is the value of S2 minus S1? H. So H equal to WL 2t x2 minus x1. So what is the value of x2 minus x1? x2 minus x1 equal to 2t into H by WL. So as here we get the value of x2 minus x1 is equal to this, and we know the value of x1 plus x2 equal to L. From these two equation we solve the value of x1 and x2. Now having found x1, x2, values of s1 and s2 can be easily calculated. Now what is the effect of ice and wind? Now the previous formula for sag are truly only in the still air and at normal temperature when the conductor is acted by its weight only. But in actual practice, a conductor may have ice coating and simultaneously subjected to a wind pressure. The weight of the ice acts vertically downward, that is the same direction as the weight of the conductor. The force due to the wind is assumed to act horizontally at the right angle to the projected surface of the conductor. So hence the total force on the conductor is a vector sum of the horizontal and vertical forces. Now in this figure you can see that the weight of the conductor and the weight of the ice acts vertically and the weight of the wind acts horizontally, and this is the resultant weight. Now this is our conductor, diameter is d, and the conductor is coated by a layer of ice. The thickness of ice is T. So what is the weight of the conductor per unit length in this case? Wt is equal to W plus Wi whole square plus Ww whole square. Root over W plus Wi whole square plus W square. Now what is W? W is the weight of the conductor per unit length. Now what is Wi? Wi is the weight of the ice per unit length. Now weight of the ice can be written as density of ice into volume of the ice. As we consider per unit length, so volume means area into length. Now as we consider unit length, so we put 1. Now what is the area? Area is pi by 4 d plus 2t whole square minus d square, because we just have to consider the area of the ice. So we at first take the whole area, that is pi by 4 d plus 2t square. What is the total diameter? This is equal to d, this is equal to t, and this side is also equal to t. So what is the total diameter? D plus t plus t, d plus 2t is the total diameter. So what is the total area? Pi by 4 d plus 2t square is the total area. And what is the area of the conductor? Pi by 4 d square. So if we divided this total area, so if we subtract the area of the conductor from the total area, we get the area of the ice. Okay, now by solving this, we can write this is equal to pi t d plus t. Next, wind force per unit length. So wind force is equal to wind pressure per unit area into projected area per unit length. Now wind pressure into wind area. What is area? Now as length is as we consider per unit length, so we put 1. Is the breadth of the what is the total breadth? The total breadth is d plus t plus t. So total breadth is d plus 2t. And what is the length? Length is 1 as we consider per unit length. So this is the weight of the wind. Okay. So the conductor now sets itself in a plane of angle theta to the vertical. Now tan theta is equal to WW by W plus WI. Here S is represent the slant slack in a direction making an angle theta to the vertical. Now if no specific mention is made in the problem, then slant slack is calculated by using the above formula. Now what is the vertical sag? Vertical sag is equal to S cos theta. Stringing chart. Stringing chart is basically a graph between sag tension with temperature. Now for use in the field work of stringing the conductors, temperature sag and temperature tension charts are plotted for the given conductor and loading condition. Now such curves are called stringing chart. Now these charts are very helpful while stringing overhead lines. So basically stringing chart is a graph between sag tension with temperature. Now here is a problem. A 130 kV transmission line has following data: weight of conductor 680 kg per kilometer, length of span 260 meter, ultimate strength 3100 kg, safety factor is 2 and ground clearance is 10. So calculate the height above the ground. So what is W? Weight of the conductor per meter. At first we find weight of the conductor per meter. So 680 is divided by 1000, 0.68 kg. Okay. Now what is the working tension? Working tension is equal to ultimate strength by safety. Actually safety factor is the ratio between ultimate strength and working tension. So from this we can get the value of working tension, which is equal to 1550 kg. What is the length of the span? That is equal to 260 meter. So what is the value, what is the formula of sag? When the supports are at equal level, the formula of sag at the formula of the sag is equal to WL square by 8T. Now putting the value of WL and T, we get the value of sag is 3.7. So already the ground clearance is 10 meters. Sag is 3.7 meter. Now ground clearance, requirement of ground clearance is 10 meters. So what is the total height above the ground? Ground clearance plus sag, that is 13.7 meter. In the second problem, a transmission line has a span of 150 meter between level supports. The conductor has a cross-sectional area 2 cm square, tension 2000 kg. If the specific gravity of the conductor material is 9.9 gram per centimeter cube and wind pressure is 1.5 kg per meter length, calculate sag and also calculate the vertical sag. So at first we have to find what is weight of the conductor per meter length. So this is equal to specific gravity into volume. Specific gravity is given by 9.9 and the area is 2 and 1 meter is converted into centimeter, that is 100 centimeter is the length. Okay, so the weight of the conductor is 1980 gram or 1.98 kg. Now total weight of 1 meter length, the resultant weight is equal to root over weight of the conductor square plus weight of the wind square. Now putting the value of W and WW, the value of resultant weight is 2.48 kg. Now putting the value of now what is sag? Sag is equal to WTL square by 8T, and by putting the value of WTL and T, we get the value of sag is 3.48 meter. Now to determine vertical sag, we have to first determine the tan theta. Tan theta is equal to W by W, because in this case ice is not present, so the weight of the ice is 0. So tan theta is equal to WW by W, 1.5 by 1.98, that is equal to 0.76. What is the value of theta? Theta equal to tan inverse 0.76, that is 37.23 degree. So what is the formula of vertical sag? Vertical sag is equal to slant sag into cos theta. So by putting the value of slant sag and cos theta, we get vertical sag is equal to 2.77 meter. That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.